Fancy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So we're streaming.
Yay!
How's everybody doing?
Oh, you're fine.
We have our dogs here. Look. I think we're getting good. Oh no.
Hello. Yeah.
I'm inviting some people to watch. Is that okay?
So we can have friends.
I should have friends. I might have them. Hello, friends.
I know. Yes. All right. We are, this is Max Cassilly. I am Maria Cassilly. This is, music and other things with Max.
I'm trying to find some music. But hey, yeah. So I've been, I got on a VHS collection. You were there.
I was?
Yeah.
I witnessed it.
Yeah, you were there, and we started to watch them. It was fun, and then I was like, let's rip these. So I used my VHS ripper, and I found one that said 1988 Bob and Gale Channel 9, or something like that. It's upstairs. Who cares? It's a VHS. Some of you kids don't even know what VHS is. Some of you probably don't know that they've started using something different. But yeah, so we ripped it, and we've been I processed the audio so that you could understand what people were saying, and then I made it sound like my parents were not the chipmunks because it was VHS, and for some reason everything was sped up really fast. So yeah, just looking up killing some time. Let's see if we can patch in.
Yeah, so we're going to watch a 1988 video of Bob and Gail Cassilly, the founders of the museum. This is pre-museum.
This is way before the museum. This is literally a whole 9 years before the museum.
Oh, hi, Steph. Oh, thank you. Stephanie says she likes the background.
Thank you. I drew this, Stephanie, on my iPad. Wow, I spent like 80 hours drawing this vector image in the background, and I'll show you guys at some point. I guess I could show you right now.
Hi, Mark.
Here's one I drew of my father.
Hi, Mom.
This is what I've been doing while watching true crime and ridiculousness. It's like a balance for me.
That's a broad spectrum of
I like to teeter-totter
material there.
All right. And yeah, it's been really fun, honestly. And I've started to animate him talking, but there's this program called Character Animator.
All right, let's get the background.
Hold on, I got one more.
Oh yeah.
Here's. It just dropped.
And we're black.
This happened last time. Oh, look at that. Cool.
Ta-da!
Here's the picture that I've been drawing. It's a drone shot of City Museum during the fog.
Hi, Nancy.
The name is something like that, but yeah.
Well, should we?
I think I can actually zoom in here too.
Nice.
Can I? Oh no. I thought I could.
Should we get into the video?
We got time. What do you mean? It's been 7 minutes. She's like, let's show the video.
I'm excited about it.
Let's show the video. I know. I really want to show it.
Julie's from Daytona Beach, and she's been at the museums for a few times while there for a junior roller derby. Actually, our florist was in the roller derby that we just saw when we were walking our dogs this afternoon.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. I also think it's funny that we have a florist.
There's the neighborhood florist is social distancing.
Yeah, S. Finch Florist. You should definitely check her out. She's awesome.
Yeah, you can't get anything now.
No.
Also, I have some friends from the band Wax Fruit that are going to meet up with us if all things plan out next Friday.
Virtually.
Virtual meeting.
Miss Lori says hello. She
hello.
says greetings. I do want to show the video. I'm excited.
I know you're excited, but I'm waiting for our connection to get a little bit better.
That's fair.
Yeah, let's we're gonna pause your.
I just did. Cool. So we should be good.
And we'll close. I'm gonna close everything before we run this video, and then yeah, my computer should be good.
We should have a telethon, Stephanie. Every time anybody says telethon, I always picture the Golden Girls. Blanche, what about the telethon?
Yeah. All right. I think I'm ready.
Yay.
Let's see.
Well, if you have questions or anything like that, we'll do what we did last week, and you can put the comments in there. We'll let the video play, and then we can kind of go over it afterwards if anybody wants to chat about it.
Everybody ready?
Yay! They're here. Let's go.
Start the video. Oh yeah, sorry, Mark. You should have yelled louder. I'm not used to.
All caps
quiet.
next time, Mark.
All right, and.
St. Louis Skyline is supported in part by the Missouri Arts Council, a state agency, by the Regional Arts Commission, and by the Camelot Special Projects Fund of the Arts and Education Council of Greater St. Louis. And now, here is your host, Anne Marie Skinner.
Hello, welcome to St. Louis Skyline. His music may be called minimalist, but his impact on music has been anything but minimal. Tonight you'll meet composer Philip Glass and hear about his latest collaboration. We'll also see a little of dancer Suzanne Grace's latest collaborative work, and I'd like to introduce my co-host for tonight's show, Beej Nierengarten-Smith, Executive Director of Laumeier Sculpture Park. Beej, you and I will have a chance to talk a little bit later in the show, but why don't you tell us what else is coming up tonight?
Well, Anne, we're about to meet two sculptors who share a love for each other, as well as for the sculptures they create. Gail Solowata Cassilly makes fine and delicate pieces, while her husband Robert Cassilly creates large beasts and architectural ornament. No matter the size or nature of the work, much time, introspection, and physical exertion goes into the making. every time I see somebody move in a different way, or every time I complete one figurative work, it just leads me on to, to be inspired to do something else. I've tried even consciously to go off in different directions at time, and it's inevitably a figure starts to appear, and so I don't fight it anymore. I just really enjoy that. I was always the one who got to do bulletin boards and had the classroom art projects and things like that, and I took it for granted. Everybody seemed to think I could do it well, and so I did it.
Her work captures the passion and spirit of the human form. His work captures the imagination.
I tried to revert to childhood when I conceived my pieces. My most formative time was when I was 12 years old. I was sitting under the porch of our house where I had this miniature city built. And there was, I was listening to these adults talk. I looked up and said, it's going to be so sad when I have to grow up and be an adult and I can't play in this dirt. And probably I worked it out that way that I could play in the dirt the rest of my life. I like to use water a lot. Water's fun. Water makes pieces less serious and allows you to be more childlike and playful. Of course, I'm most flattered when a 10-year-old likes my work. I do find the most rewarding audience. I like to make them, everybody like it, or at least appeal to everyone on different levels. And I think the more levels a work appears on, the better it is. I made this hippopotamus for the zoo, and when I go over there, I see like 20 kids in line to go climb through it, and that makes me happier than anything I made. I've got a 2-year-old son, and I was making him a playhouse, and it ended up at the zoo. And actually, all my work is revolved around my son since he's been born. I've been making these big play animals. Max is my inspiration because he's enthusiastic and spontaneous, and he likes all the neat things in life, like, bugs and insects and food. And so we got a lot in common. And, it's like a return to your roots, what's really important.
I just find that when Max came along, suddenly children came into the picture in my work a lot more than they had before. Suddenly there were fathers with children and mothers with children more than there had been before. And I felt much more comfortable working with a child's figure, having my real hands-on experience with him all the time.
Mary Brunstrom is the owner of Austral Gallery, where the Cassillys recently had a show, and Bob's mythical creatures are still on display.
I think I was probably really directly influenced with this type of image from my 3 years in Africa, where every woman you saw walking down the road had a pile of something on her head, fruit or wood or heaven knows what.
Where were you teaching in Africa?
I was teaching in Malawi.
Teaching
Art. In a girls' school. And some things just keep creeping back into my work. A lot of people say they see African influences, and again, it's not really conscious on my part, but I was influenced enough to have it just come out automatically from time to time.
Several years ago, Bob and Gail started an architectural ornamentation business called Cassilly and Cassilly. The business has been quite successful, resulting in a full-time staff and simultaneous projects. Besides finishing work for the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and designing new sidewalk borders for Forest Park Parkway, the Cassillys are working on a giant squid for the zoo.
This is the giant squid we're making for the St. Louis Zoo. It'll be 42 feet long when we're done. Basically, how we made this thing was like, we made it like a surfboard. We started with a steel armature, and then we used urethane foam, like they spray in the attic, and we sprayed the whole thing with urethane foam, and then we went to it with chisels and files and carved a squid. When that was finished, we sanded it down, and then covered the whole thing with fiberglass. So when this thing's finished, we want it to look like it's actually swimming in the ocean in the back.
I'm the finisher in the family. Bob usually completes something at the 95% mark. And I'm usually pretty happy to take up at that point and, finish something off.
That's really the best thing about our relationship is she's made me like 10 times as productive because I can start something, but I can't finish almost anything. She finishes all my projects.
It's true. He's got incredible energy for starting things, just huge, colossal things. He'll begin with great gusto. I mean, things I could never imagine starting. But then he just, after that initial enthusiasm and energy, he gets tired of it and he wants to go to the next big thing.
She's sort of quality control for the two of us. She tells me when I'm getting off the deep end.
I think I'm probably most satisfied with my work when I've just begun a project because I'm excited about it and I have a direction and I haven't ruined it yet and there's just endless potential for what it can become. Somewhere around the middle mark, I usually can't stand it because I think that I'm ruining it and taking away the freshness that I started out with. And then by the end, I've reached some sort of resolution, which has made me somewhat happy, somewhat disappointed. I don't think my work needs a story like some people's work does. I think what you see is what it is. We really work very harmoniously, and there's very little competition. We don't really have many conflicts. I think we were able to help each other fairly well, I think.
As long as we know when to get out of the way.
Every nook and cranny in the Cassilly's many studios hosts an abundance of promising half-finished works piled up next to completed pieces. And like Adam and Eve in the garden, one is tempted to see even more. What a diversity of work. It's amazing that a couple can find so much support in St. Louis to be able to do that kind of work.
Well, I think that's one of the highlights of being in the arts community in St. Louis. Consider that both Gail and Bob work not only for institutions but for themselves, and that they found a gallery to represent their work, which is another layer of support that the community can offer.
But it's not just the gallery. I mean, they have broad-based support. The zoo, obviously, my children have climbed in that hippo many times.
Right. Exactly. And I think that, you'll find that as their careers develop, they'll find other outlets in the community to use them as a resource.
Well, they have a wide diversity of styles of sculpture, but at Laumeyer there is currently a very, very different style of sculpture. Can you tell us about that exhibit?
The Madalena Abakanova.
No, we cannot. But yes.
Ooh.
Hey, look, you joined.
Me? Oh, hey, I'm watching.
Yeah. So there was a lot there. And
No, you're not. You're not, Mark. We've seen it a few times now, so it's a little like we know what's coming. But yeah, it was funny. My sister and I both watched this separately before we aired it tonight, and we're both like, "I didn't know your dad did the hippo. We went through that a bunch of times."
yeah, pretty much everybody. It's not entirely his style because it's before he really developed it, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, it was really cool to see some of the work. Yeah, the same thing happened when I found out that he did the squid from the Living World at the zoo. It's just like, oh, right, okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense. That's happened a lot, actually, over the last...
surfboard squid.
Yeah, that's happened a lot over the years. I was like, oh, I
Which
have
is
no
the
idea
new
he did
band.
that.
The Surfboard Squids.
Surfboard Squids? Is that our new band name?
Mm-hmm.
It's not. That's terrifying.
Yeah, of course it is. But
But yeah.
Yeah, we showed my mom that video today, and she might be watching now. Who knows? But thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been really nice to be able to go through all of these videos and things, and we're excited to like really build an archive and thunder and yeah, see all the contributions the museum and has made. So we're really excited about it. Yeah, it was actually really cool to see them working together.
Yeah, it didn't remind me of us because we just don't work well together, and
yeah, we're never around each other.
like if I could not be stuck in the house with anybody,
you've been doing fine.
That was it's been good. As
but yeah, so it's yeah, I'm glad you liked it, Mark.
So the next video that I have is an hour long. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Kristen. Yeah, you know, he did.
Bob did look very calm, yes. When he had to have his nice shoes on.
Yeah.
you know, things were serious when Bob had to have like.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of
on.
people. Let's go. I actually wouldn't mind going back to look at a couple of people in it. Let's see. I'm John Oliver. No, just kidding. That just sounds scary.
Boards and had the classroom art projects and things like that, and I took it for granted. You know, everybody seemed to think I could do it well, and so I did it.
Her work captures the passion and.
I think it was in the other video. I'm just colliding all my videos together.
I know we've been looking at a lot of footage over the last couple weeks. What's happening to you right now? That's good.
Yeah.
I feel like we're unraveling a little bit at this point. But yeah, so and then so there's a couple more videos. Yeah, an hour-long one. We're gonna start editing and cutting down a little bit, and we should have that for you guys hopefully in the next couple weeks. It's a lot of material to work with, and yeah, it's good to know that you've been around artwork like literally your entire life.
Me?
Yeah, a little bit.
I do really like.
Bugs and insects and food, and you know, so we got a lot in common. And you know, it's like return to your roots. You know, what's really important.
I just find that when Max came along, suddenly children came into the picture in my work a lot more than they had before. Suddenly there were fathers and with children and mothers with children more than there had been before. And I felt much more comfortable working with a child's figure, having had, having my real hands-on experience with him all the time.
As well, so you can definitely check those out.
All right.
Well, thank you guys. Be safe. Oop, I know. Where are you? Come towards me. Come here. Come on.
Nope.
He's lost his mind.
Have
a lovely night. Yes. Have a lovely night. Take care of yourselves. Check out our other videos on citymuseum.org. We've got
food, Stephanie.
The
important things.
We've got a link to the City Museum website in the description.
Oh, sorry.
And
I'm just
take care of yourselves.
Poses and the art.